In today's video, I am going to be breaking down the most popular basketball plays that are used at the youth level. These are great basketball plays, and most of them are 5-out offenses. So make sure to go check out the complete guide to the 5-out offense down in the description below. Now let's get down and let's check out these basketball plays. So at the youth level, many leagues around the world will play a man-to-man defense. And there's a lot of ways that you can exploit that at the youth level, and that is to use the 5-out offense. And one of the most popular offenses is this 5-out, where player 1 will pass to player 2, and then he will cut to the rim. When he cuts to that rim, some of the time he may be open. However, this can drop down player 5. So if player 1 gets that ball, if player 5 was to drop down, I always want to teach my players that they have an option to kick out to player 5 in the corner for that 3-point shot. Hopefully he's a good 3-point shooter. However, now we are teaching our players that once you gather a second defender, you need to kick that ball out for a 3. However, going back to the actual play, if player 1 is not open, player 3 will fill the top, player 4 will fill the wing, and player 1 will fill the corner. If player 2 was to pass to player 5 and he cuts to the rim, which that's what a 5-out pass and cut is, then if he's open, obviously we're going to have the option to pass him the ball for the layup, or if the other team is in strong help or in help defense, player 2 could kick that ball out to the opposite side for, again, the 3-point shot. But especially at the youth level, I'm talking under 10, under 11, I always want to try and teach these players to cut back door if their man helps off, because if that happens, this is an easy layup. Now, if he's not open, player 3 is going to cover the wing, player 4 is going to cover the point, player 1 is going to then cover the wing, and then player 2 is going to fill out to the corner. So while these players are filling, now the next point is extremely important. This player, if he doesn't have a shot and he didn't have the chance to pass to the cutter, then he needs to make sure that this pass goes to player 3 while player 3 is running to that wing. The reason being is if he waits too long to pass this ball, then player 3 red is going to be in deny, and that ball will be most likely picked off. Now, something that I do like to teach my team is if there's a player, and I do this with different drills, but if there's a player who's overplaying your side, you can't get that pass through, then you need to cut back door. This could be a pass very easily to player 3 for a layup. Now, if he was to cut back door, these players also have to fill up. Now, this is again still 5-out pass and cut, but you have to make sure that these players get to that spot fast to make sure that pass goes through. Now, when it comes to the zone defenses and when you're playing up against zone defenses, the next most popular play is the 3-out, 2-in, or 1-3-1. There's a couple of different coaches naming it different things, but basically it's a high-low offense. So basically what you're doing here against for example, a 2-3 zone is getting a high post player and a low post player, because getting the ball into the high post on a 2-3 or really any zone is a weak point of that zone and creates a lot of 3-point opportunities, but also creates a lot of high to low post passes in the key. So basically what we're looking at here is having player 1 pass to player 3, and the whole main goal of this offense is to try and get that ball into player 4. So player 1 would then go over and guard that player on the wing. Player 3 would then get that ball into that high post. That draws player 5 up. Player 5 blue goes in the middle of the key or crosses the key and gets that easy layup. That is the whole version of this offense. Now, personally, I've made a few changes to this offense so that it's not so stagnant, because I hate players that don't move off ball. So how I've changed this offense to make it even harder or harder to guard, because a lot of the times, for example, if it's a team that plays a 2-3 like me, I'm always trying to front face that high post. So even if the ball goes to this wing, I try to front face, and that way, sure, while the point is open, that high post isn't. A high to low post pass is extremely deadly in the 2-3 zone, so I would rather a 3-point shot than a player with the ball in the high post. So in this, or my version of this offense, how I have it is player 1, he's going to pass, for example, to player 3. That would move the defense, and player 1 will then screen or run away from the way or side that he passed to. So if he passed to player 3, he would sprint to the far wing, and then the far wing moves up to the point. This just gives a little bit of ball movement. Now, if the ball goes from the wing to the point, this is going to draw up that player. He's going to be now front facing that post, but now we have player 3 and 1. They now sprint baseline, or another way of doing this is to have player 3 go across the high post, player 1 go across the low post, and now what we're doing is getting these these bottom wing players to go and guard that next pass. That's drawing these guys up. Player 4 would then go to this high post. We would have player 3 pass to player 4. This draws up player 5 red. High to low post pass. Simple layup. That's how I like to run this same offense that is traditionally so stagnated. Now, these are two very popular offenses. Make sure, again, to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out. But this last one, this 4-out, is extremely deadly. It's kind of popular. I've changed it a few ways. So let's get down. Let's check it out. So basically, if we were to call 4-out for player 5, so let's call this Jimmy. If we call 4-out Jimmy, Jimmy then goes to the high post. Because he came from the left side, player 2 needs to dribble out to the left side, and player 3 covers that corner. That's because, of course, this is a better entry pass in. So player 5 goes to this side of the elbow, and player 2 will then pass the ball into player 5. Now, traditionally, this will draw player 5, and what will happen sometimes is, or at least what should happen, is in a lot of teams' offenses, player 4 will cut back door, and this will be a high to low post pass for player 4. It's super easy. When that backdoor cut happens, player 1 is going to then move down to or cut down to that corner, and we would then have, if that's not open, a pass out to the corner for now a 3-point shot. There's a few different options here. How I like to run it is a bit different, and how I like to run it is obviously this will draw up player 5. We now have in my offense, player 1 and player 2 cutting. This gives player 5 two different options. This can also collapse the defense because nobody wants to give up a layup, in which case now player 5 can pass out to player 3 or skip pass out to player 4 for a 3-point shot. So make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense down in the description below. But I hope that these plays help your team win more games, especially with my edits to those simple plays. Anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.